Hi friends, in this part we focus on another classification of abnormal uterine action, that is uterine inertia or hypotonic dysfunction. It is a common type of abnormal uterine action, but it is comparatively less serious. This hypotonic dysfunction may be present from the beginning of the labor or may develop subsequently after a variable period of effective contraction. So, hypotonic uterine inertia, what does it mean? The uterine contractions are infrequent, weak, and of short duration, and the intensity is diminished. I have already discussed in this case the uterine contractions are very less and it is infrequent, weak, and it have only short duration. We can look onto this picture. This is the diagram of a uterus in normal labor with normal contraction, and this is the picture of uterus with uterine inertia or hypotonic uterine dysfunction. And here the dark shade, it indicates strong contraction. So while comparing these two pictures, we could understood that this picture, that the picture of uterine inertia, it indicate less contraction. Then we can move on to the clinical pictures, how it look when there is slow contraction. So first, labor is prolonged. Obviously, when the uterine contraction is slow, the expulsion of the fetus is delayed and the progress of labor is prolonged, and the patient feels less pain during uterine contraction. The contractions are infrequent, weak, and short in duration. And we can see slow cervical dilation. As we all know, the contraction helps in the dilation of the cervix. Therefore, if the contraction is slow, the cervical dilation also will be slow. Usually, the membranes are intact, and these patients are more susceptible for retained placenta and postpartum hemorrhage due to persistent inertia. And while revealing the topography, we could understood that it shows infrequent waves of contraction with low amplitude. And moving on to the type, there are two types of inertia: primary inertia and secondary inertia. Primary inertia, in that weak uterine contraction from the beginning itself. And the secondary inertia, the inertia developed after a period of good contraction. In the case of primary inertia, there will be uterine contraction from the beginning itself. But in case of secondary inertia, there was a good uterine contraction, but inertia developed later. How do we manage this condition? The general measures include: first, we have to examine the patient to detect disproportion, malpresentation or malposition of the fetus. If any present, manage according to the case. Proper management of first stage of labor is very essential. And we have to provide prophylactic antibiotic if membrane has ruptured. In vaginal delivery, the general measures include: we have to relax the patient. If the patient has stress, pain or anxiety, it will inhibit the uterine contraction through the release of endogenous catecholamine. We have to advise the patient to avoid supine position to avoid aorta caval compression. and also advised to empty the bladder. Another step of management is the amniotomy. I think you all are familiar with the amniotomy. It is nothing but artificial rupture of the membrane or amniotic sac, and we can provide amniotomy only if vaginal delivery is amenable, the cervix is more than 3 cm dilation, and the presenting part occupying well the lower uterine segment. While doing amniotomy, there will be release of prostaglandin. It will result in reflex stimulation of uterine contraction. And the another measure is the administration of oxytocin. We will provide 5 units of oxytocin drip after low rupture of the membrane, and the drip is to be continued till 1 hour after the delivery. Another measure is the cesarean section. If there is any failure of previous methods, or there is any contraindication to oxytocin infusion, including disproportion, then fetal distress before full cervical dilatation, we will go for cesarean section. So this is how we will manage the hypertonic uterine contraction.